Well, I'm sure if they could can this feeling and then sell it, they'd make even more money. Congratulations to Red Bull. They are the 2010 Constructors Champions. David Coulthard, you were there at the beginning. Just tell us how you're feeling.
Well, I'm very proud that the team, and you know, Christian says 6 years, as if that's a long time. In actual fact, you know, I'd say that was a pretty impressive rise from Red Bull buying the team. Obviously taking it, as Martin mentioned, from Stewart Grand Prix to Jaguar, and then obviously in its final guys is Red Bull. Great achievement for that team, because McLaren and Ferrari, of course, have quite a bit of experience of winning Constructors' Championships.
Well, Eddie, it's usually dance music in the Red Bull garage after a race as they're packing down, but it's some nice Brazilian beats for us down here in the pit lane at the moment. Just put into perspective what an achievement it is for a team 6 years into Formula One to be the best.
Well, I think, first of all, we have to say well done to them. It's been a remarkable story. But the thing is that they were all the pressures to bring the team to Austria. They rebelled against it. They kept the team in Milton Keynes, where all the talented people were. They had a mass and an infrastructure of the right kind of spirit. They brought Christian Horner there, and I think probably the key was Adrian Newey. He is way and by far, in my view, the best, most competent designer of everybody. And that's the ingredients that's made it so possible.
Well, statistically, it's absolutely proven. His cars have won over 100 Grand Prix. As his 7 Constructors Championship as a technical director and aero guru in Formula One. So there's no question that he's the market leader.
And you know him, you were involved in sort of persuading him to come to Red Bull initially. He hasn't won a title since 1998. How much will this mean to him as someone who lives to design F1 cars?
Well, a Constructors title, of course, he's won Drivers' Championships with individual drivers, but yeah, it means a great deal to him. He's tremendously passionate about Formula One. He's a hobby racer himself, or a gentleman racer, however he wants to be referred to, and you know, he loves being out on the racetrack, so that's a big achievement for him.
And congratulations.
A little extra on that is, one, his son is currently karting at a good level, and not many people know this, but Adrian Newey signed for Jordan Grand Prix, but we did manage to do a little deal with McLaren before he actually came to work there, but we won't talk about that.
No, we won't talk about that, although we just have. Amazing. Well, only one man could turn Red Bull winning the championship round to the fact that he was involved with Jordan, but let's move on, because Jordan are not in Formula One at the moment, but these teams and these drivers are, and this is how things are standing at the moment as far as the drivers and the Constructors' Championship is concerned, and you can see it there. That gap, 48 points from Red Bull to McLaren, means Red Bull are the championship winners. Congratulations to them. And as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, let's have a little look at how this is standing, and you can see Fernando Alonso remains the leader. Mark Webber 8 points behind. Now the big question is, if they'd have swapped Mark and Sebastian, it would have been just the 1 point. And as we head to the final race of the year, it just means Fernando Alonso needs to finish in second place, and he will be crowned the champion. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But Adrian Newey is with us now. Adrian, we were just saying 1998 was the last time you designed a car that won the Constructors' Championship. Quite a wait. Does it feel the same as it did back in the 90s?
Yeah, well, this is amazing to have done it with this team, to have been in it from near the start, and for us to have jointly built the team up from really being a midfield runner to the point where we could win the Constructors' Championship is fantastic achievement for all the team in Milton Keynes.
Now, a bit like David, you were involved at McLaren for a long time. Just give us your honest assessment of what it was like when you first arrived at Red Bull. Did it feel like a Formula One team that 6 years later could be doing something special?
That was obviously the aspiration, but I was far from sure that we could achieve it. Certainly the team didn't have the infrastructure of the big teams. When I joined Williams and McLaren, then I was very lucky the team had all the infrastructure and we could just about go about designing the car. Here it's been a bigger task, really building everything up, getting the whole operation together, and everybody in Milton Keynes, has risen to that job fantastically.
Great.
Adrian, what is the key to your success? Obviously you lead your team technically, but what do you look to put below you? Is it a good number 2? Is it 10 people below you in key roles? You know, what do you always try and put in place?
Trying to get everybody to gel. I mean, I think in particular Peter Prodrino and Rob Marshall need a special thanks for their efforts as head of aerodynamics and chief designer. They've made an enormous contribution to the car. But the whole team really, it's getting everybody to gel, work together, and it sounds corny, but really sort of try and work as a cohesive unit.
Adrian, I was critical at the beginning of the season that you'd lost a key man in Jeff, and you've obviously answered that question for me. Was that the turning point, bringing on somebody new?
I think it's a huge turning point. I mean, we had a good car last year, but we just weren't quite quick enough with the double diffuser early in the year. This year's the car's been quick, but we've had a lot of problems, be it mechanical or whatever, and we've thrown away a lot of points. So kind of start to lose confidence after Korea, which I think must be one of my all-time worst races.
Okay, well, Adrian, enjoy this, and you're certainly in the right country for a party. Congratulations, and I'm sure the sun isn't quite as hot in Milton Keynes as it is out here in Brazil, but the thoughts of Adrian and the rest of the Red Bull team are with all of the guys watching this back home in the UK. So thank you very much, congratulations, have a great evening, and now let's hear from the two drivers who brought home those two cars, along with the man who is still the main man in the title hunt for the drivers, Fernando Alonso. Here they all are.
Sebastian, congratulations, you've won the Constructors' Championship, and now you have a chance in the drivers at Abu Dhabi as well.
Yeah, I think incredible day. Obviously, not an easy race to start with. We knew we were on the dirty side, but I think we had a good start. And I saw that Nico had a bit too much wheel spin, and then I just used my momentum to squeeze down the inside. He didn't give a lot of room, but just enough. And that obviously was key for me. And then to disappear in the distance, controlling the gap. The car felt fantastic all throughout the race. I was able to hold the gaps as I planned, so could control the race from there. And yeah. Obviously, with the safety car in the end, it was the right choice not to try to pull away too much, to have some tires left. And then I focused on the first couple of laps, build a gap, and then just brought the car home. As you said, it's pretty incredible. I don't know what really to say. Incredible effort from the team. Not an easy season, especially, I think, like races we just had in Korea. I think it was the right answer for all the people to come back here. Never mind what happened in Korea, just stay focused, and the whole team, pulling on one string and getting us both up here, 1-2, and getting this Constructors' Championship one race before the end, I think is fantastic. And, obviously we are still fighting for the drivers. We want to get rid of this guy, but it's unbelievable achievement. I'm very proud, regards to all the people in the team, in the factory in Milton Keynes, but also in Austria. They have been obviously starting this program, this target before I entered Formula One, but it's nice now to be part of that, and I'm very proud. Proud of my team, of myself. So I would say it's a fantastic day.
Well done, Mark. You pushed Sebastian very hard, but ultimately, I guess the start was the decisive part of the race for you today.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Most of the races are decided, as we know, pretty much on Saturday or the first lap. So you can follow each other around, but eventually, in the old days, you could play with the strategy a little bit, change the fuel loads, and have a look at going longer, shorter, having a little bit of a play. But that's not how it is now. So fair play to Seb, drove a good race, and he won the race, and we had to manage a few problems through most of the second part of the race. So had a very, very, very hot engine for some reason, so we had to turn the engine down quite a lot, and then it was about really just focusing on keeping Fernando out in the safety car. Brought everyone back, but it's a pretty straightforward Grand Prix, and I am absolutely stoked for the guys and girls. I've known a lot of them at Milton Keynes for a long time, and for them to be part of this amazing effort over so many years to come through and get the Constructors' World Championship is a phenomenal effort for them. Also, everyone, of course, the start of the program, Dietrich Mateschitz, and everyone who has put everything into getting us up and racing against Ferrari and McLaren. At the end of the day, we've beaten them fair and square. So the rest can say what they want, but we have the Constructors at the moment, and it's a very, very, very good achievement for the team.
Well done. Fernando, you passed Hamilton and Hülkenberg at the start, but I guess you lost touch with these two in the process.
Yeah, I think we lost too much ground at the first laps of the race, trying to overtake Hamilton and then Hülkenberg. So, yeah, those 10 or 12 seconds we lost with the Red Bulls were impossible to catch. Obviously, we are very close in the race pace, maybe 1/10, 2/10 quicker some laps, 1 or 2/10 slower some other laps. So, when you lose 12 seconds, probably it's over. And then we had a little chance when the safety car came out, but we found ourselves in the wrong position again with 7 cars between Mark and us. So to pass these 7 cars, the gap again was 6 or 7 seconds to the Red Bull. So it was over for the second time, but overall, I think a good race for us, being in the podium, overtaking Hamilton and Hülkenberg. That we knew that it was not an easy thing to do, but in terms of points, etc., we are extremely happy. Of course, congratulations to Red Bull, Constructor World Championship after 6 or 7 years only in Formula One. It's a great achievement. So We see what happened in Abu Dhabi with other championship. I think very open now with the win of Sebastian. Also, it's another strong contender. So we see what we can do in Abu Dhabi, and we see the final result of I think a very exciting championship.
Abu Dhabi. Didn't take them long to start talking about that, did it? Because that is where we will decide the fate of the 2010 Drivers' Championship. And just have a little look behind us, Pete, and you can see what we can see here. Those are the two Red Bulls that came home in a 1-2 finish. And David, how nice to see them covered in all of that lovely silver and gold paper.
Yeah, it's a nice little feature of the podium, isn't it? But great day for Red Bull. You know, I remember back in '98 being part of a constructor winning champion team, and you know, the feeling, the sense of really being part of the team. Every individual has played a big part in it.
Even though you haven't won the Drivers' Championship, it still feels that you played a really integral role in something like that.
Indeed, and you know, there's a lot of money associated with winning the Constructors' Championship, so it takes a big pressure off budgets for the following year.
And Eddie, we've seen the celebrations in the garage. I think if any team will have a big party, it'll be Red Bull.
And deservedly so, because they are a younger team, very like what we witnessed here last year with Braun. These were people who weren't destined to win a championship. That's what makes the David and Goliath story so fabulous, and Red Bull deserve every moment. In a historic year, probably the most exciting season that I ever remember, they'll be crowned as the champions. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Red Bull have lived up to their billing. Interlagos lived up to its billing as well, didn't it? Gave us a cracking race and gives us 4 drivers in the championship hunt as we head towards the final race of the year. One of those drivers is Lewis Hamilton. He's with Lee Mackenzie.
Hi, Lewis. The good news is you're still in the running for the championship, but it didn't sound a comfortable day for you out there when you were listening to team radio.
There's not really too much to say, really. It was a tough race. I mean, we got a good result generally, but the car, I was nowhere. You know, I had no grip. I feel quite lucky to have finished where I finished. You know, it's nevertheless, you know, the guys did a great job throughout the weekend as always, and we'll go to the next race. We have nothing to really lose now, so as always, we'll just keep pushing.
We heard you talking quite early on about having no grip, and then you were questioning if the F-duct was working. What was the feeling like driving around this track in the car?
The car didn't feel like it did in practice. Just down the straights particularly, it felt I didn't think the F-duct was working, simply because I was struggling to overtake back markers, you know, on the straight line, and obviously Fernando shot past me on the straight, and but you know, I just kept pushing. I think they did a great job with the strategy. You can't win with a car that's not quick enough. So
when you came in, you had to come in again for tyres, but all things considered, to be able to be going into Abu Dhabi and still within a mathematical chance of being the champion, you know, that must give you a little positive. You feel you could be world champion?
I think right now, myself, Jensen obviously had a good race. I think we have to really focus on trying to get as many points for the Constructors' Championship. We're not quick enough here. We will not be quick enough in Abu Dhabi. You know, I got to pull a miracle out, and that's. But then again, that could happen. So I'll keep driving like I do. I won't give up. But realistically, we will want to score as many points as we can for the Constructors now.
Well, driving's what he does, and he does it very well. I think that was a case of Lee Mackenzie perhaps looking slightly on the bright side, talking about the title still. The situation for Lewis is difficult. He's 24 points behind, which means that he will need a win for Alonso not to finish, and even then, if Mark Webber does the business, that won't be enough. Eddie, can you see Lewis doing this?
As much as I might like to say so, it's really no chance, because he's got 3 really top guys in front of him, and that's not going to happen, that he's breaking those 3 down, barring, as you described, a miracle. Miracles don't often happen in Formula 1.
And if you take a look behind us, you can see actually Jenson Button's McLaren is just being wheeled in alongside Lewis Hamilton's, and the problem is the car just wasn't good enough, as Lewis said.
Yeah, you know, different tracks suit different cars, and for whatever reason, they didn't have enough pace in that middle sector. We know they have good straight line speed, which helped him in the last sector, and as they explained to Lewis during the race, he was actually fastest at the point where he thought his F-duct wasn't working.
Well, it was another strong race for Jenson Button, but a disappointing qualifying session put him in a bad position. He scythed through the crowd, but it still wasn't enough. He's with Lee.
Well, Jenson, the bad news is you're out of the running for this year's World Championship, but you made the best of a difficult 24 hours, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the race was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and fighting through the field and the team making the right calls on pit stop strategy. It was, yeah, a fun race, and to finish just behind my teammate who started 4th is not so bad. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had some good overtaking moves, and you know, yeah, it's a good way to lose the World Championship, I suppose, this season. And you know, this whole year has been a lot of fun for me. Still another race to go, but you know, we can really build on this for next year. We're a very strong team. I don't think there's a team that's stronger than us out there. So yeah, a good season.
Lewis sounded quite disappointed with his race, with the way his car was handling. How was yours?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best it's been all weekend. Doesn't mean it's amazing, but it's the best it's been all weekend. We've made a lot of improvements this weekend, and I really struggled on Friday. I just could not get a balance with the car. We turned it upside down trying to find a quicker car. But we finally got there, and in the race I could really play with it more than I've been able to do all weekend. It's the only real time in the car I've enjoyed this weekend. So yeah, the boys did a great job, and strategy was great. We're just not quick enough at the moment.
Looking forward to leaving Brazil?
I don't think that's the right way to put it. I think as a race, you know, I always have a lot of fun here, and it's an epic circuit, and a lot of championships been won and lost here, so it holds a lot of good memories. So yeah, but I will be going home tonight. Cheers.
Home to where his 2009 title sits, of course. There you go, the number one on Jenson Button's car, the number one that you will only see on this car for one more race, because Button is out of the battle.
Jenson Button's first season at McLaren has been largely successful. His 2 early victories in Australia and China were very impressive.
He's the world champion and he's the championship leader.
Another inspired decision on downforce levels at Monza proved successful.
Okay, Jenson, this pace is excellent.
His qualifying pace has occasionally let him down.
That is a shocker. And Jenson Button fails to make it into the third part of qualifying.
He was very unlucky with a radiator bung being left in place at the Monaco Grand Prix, which wrecked his engine. He was an innocent party in this crash with Sebastian Vettel, which finished his Belgian Grand Prix early. Poor old Jenson, minding his own business. A poor race in Korea, finishing only 12th. And then 11th on the grid in Brazil underlines a lack of pace at the end of the season.
Well, it's fair to say, and probably quite apt to say right now, that Jenson Button was a world champion virgin when he picked up the title. That's the car that's behind us at the moment. It's great actually being down here amongst all these cars after the Grand Prix, but Jenson won't be revelling in the party atmosphere down here. He'll be going home to think about this season. How will he reflect on it, do you think?
Well, of course, he'll be disappointed right now because he is no longer or he won't certainly be any longer the world champion after Abu Dhabi. But I think he's actually had a great first season with McLaren. He got those early wins, and he's certainly shown that he can, you know, push Lewis along. And a lot of people thought that wouldn't be the case.
I'd like to add to that, and I think as the season unfolded, I remember talking in previous shows that I've seen him speak and take on the mantle as the ambassador, as the current world champion. And my experience, I do not recall a better world champion for the year that he had it. So full marks to Jenson Button. He displayed a wonderful tone of integrity and style.
OK, well, Jenson took it all the way through to the penultimate race of the year. Fernando Alonso has ensured we're going to take this to the final race of the year. He got his nose in front just a few races ago, and he's managed to stay there. One of the reasons why he's picked up a few points compared to Lewis Hamilton is that in 2 races now, Eddie, Lewis has made mistakes that Fernando has capitalised on, and there was today's.
Well, I'm still very confused about this McLaren car. Every time we hear communications from a driver, it's either lack of grip or tyres or this or that or the other. I don't think they fulfilled their potential in the wet qualifying session. Something is just missing. They're just a final ingredient. They've got the drivers, they've got the engine, they've got the team, and they've got the people. They just need to capture something that makes the car more drivable. OK, well, let's talk about Fernando Alonso, because he is the man in the box seat. He was the man up behind the gearbox of Nico Hülkenberg at this point. How well do you think he's driven in the past few races, David? He's the only driver in that top 5 not to have had a non-score in the past few.
Yeah, sorry, Jake, I actually missed the beginning of the... Did you say Nico Rosberg?
No, we're talking about Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso. Yeah, I wondered why I had Nico in my ears, so sorry, I was a bit of communication. No, Fernando is, you know, he's had an incredible second half of the season, so you can't take anything away from the consistency. He's double world champion. He knows exactly what he's got to do. He's made a couple of mistakes, obviously, early in the year, Monaco qualifying or pre-qualifying, and then in Spa when he dropped the car there. They were uncharacteristic mistakes, but he's going into the last race heading this championship.
Jake, I'm intrigued. I'm absolutely dying to see what your permutations and combinations you're going to come up with this time, because the absolute opportunities are even more intriguing. And the reason is because you got clear clarity at this stage. You've got 2 Red Bulls and you've got Alonso. Anything can happen.
Okay,
So I'll
well,
be interested at that.
I'll give you them now. There's an 8-point gap between Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso, which means that if Mark Webber wins this race and Fernando Alonso finishes second, then I'm afraid to say that Mark Webber is not going to win it. Obviously, that's what I'm thinking about Red Bull. I'm not biased or anything. Neither is anyone else right here. And as far as the other drivers are concerned, as far as Lewis Hamilton is concerned, he really is struggling. He's 24 behind. Sebastian Vettel 15 points back, which means that he would need to finish second, and then for Alonso still to not score. I mean, it's going to be a very, very difficult race for anyone apart from Mark Webber, surely.
I honestly say that certainly the message that came over from Sebastian was so clear. He wanted to win this race to enforce his own integrity, his own style on this race. I do believe if it's a 1-2 in the same situation next week, it'll be reversed. I think that Vettel will do the right thing and let Mark go.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think that Sebastian made it very clear in his pre-race interview that, you know, they're employed by the team. Of course, he wants to win, but if it's a choice between Mark winning the championship or Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari, then I don't think he'll get in the way of that. Okay, well, you guys are employed for your opinions. This man is employed to make those kinds of decisions, Christian Horner. Christian, we'll talk in detail in a moment about today's race and what happens in Abu Dhabi, but first of all, congratulations from all of us. This is the story of a quite stunning season for you guys.
You know, in the early building years, yes, there were some ups and downs, but we never lost sight of what the objective was. Working at Red Bull is a way of life. It's not just a job.
How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high?
People forget 3 or 4 years ago they were saying we were the laughing stock.
Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we...
Sebastian Vettel win. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull.
Guys, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's incredible the pace they have.
Oh no! Mark Webber's gone right up there.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well done, Mark. Great job. You won the British Grand Prix. Well done. Fantastic, Mark. Brilliant job.
Thanks, guys. Absolutely awesome.
Hamilton versus Webber. Is they going to come together? Yes, they have.
We will get them. Don't you worry. Yes! Fantastic. Thank you. I'm proud of you. Proud to be part of your team.
It's just a massive achievement for the whole team. The effort that has gone in over the last 6 seasons is just mind-boggling. To take on the might of Ferrari, the success of McLaren, it's a massive thing that we've managed to achieve.
Well, what a season and achieve they have, and Champagne Supernova is an apt song because you absolutely stink of the stuff. Well done. Has this not seemed like an incredibly long season, though, for you? You've been the team to beat for so long now.
Well, looking at some of those images, it just brings back, you know, what we've been through this year, but as a team performance, it's been just unbelievable. The commitment from every single member, not just within Red Bull Racing, but within Red Bull as well, the backing that we've had has just been, you know, unfaltering and a great team performance today.
One thing we've spoken about during the course of the year is that the Constructors' Championship is where the financials are, but the Drivers' Championship is where the real glory is. So do you feel any sort of pressure off your shoulders going into the last race, knowing that one of your 2 drivers can come away with it, or both your drivers can come away with the championship?
Yeah, it's a fantastic result to win the Constructors' World Championship, to know that you've beaten iconic names like Ferrari, McLaren, you know, all those other teams, and you know, we go to Abu Dhabi with both drivers still very much in contention for this championship, and in many ways it's nice to get this one out of the way here, so full focus on drivers, very much so next weekend.
Christian, I've got to ask you the inevitable. Presuppose exactly what is in the position of the finishing order was today. Let's say with 2 laps to go in the same conditions next week, you, Christian Horner, team boss, you must alter the top. You must let them pass.
Well, the drivers drive for the team, and they've received tremendous support this year. It would have been wrong to switch them today. We've backed both of them equally all year, and it would have been wrong to artificially take one of the drivers out of this championship. So, of course, if we find ourselves in a situation where on the last lap, the team, one of the drivers can win the World Championship, then the drivers, will do whatever's necessary to ensure, as a team, we achieve the best result.
That sounds like a yes to me. Good question, Eddie. OK, thank you very much indeed. Don't forget you can see highlights of the Grand Prix tonight on BBC 3 at 8 p.m. this evening. And we are back in just 7 days' time for the final Grand Prix of the 2010 season. And Christian Horner and Red Bull will head there as Constructors' Championship champions. 24 cars flying around Interlagos is probably the most beautiful dance that you'll see on the BBC on a Sunday evening. The Bulls have proved they really are the fastest of the lot, but there's a Spaniard on a stallion stabled just down the way looking to do the business in a few days, along with Lewis Hamilton. It could get rather hot in the desert. We'll all see you there. Bye-bye.
Four drivers still in with a shout of the Drivers' Championship. He wants to win this race because he needs as many points as he can muster if he's going to maintain his challenge to the final race. This season is extraordinary. So far we're about to become 4. There's Alonso, Webber, Vettel or Hamilton will crown the champion in 7 days.